Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I have a massive JRPG that's just the first in a trilogy. This is Xenosaga Episode 1, which does not have Jar Jar in it, thankfully. Lots of other creatures, but not Jar Jar. Now here's a giant game to keep you busy. This is Xenosaga Episode 1 on the PlayStation 2, released in 2001 from Namco. I can easily describe this game as a cinematic JRPG. Beyond that, it's going to be tough to cover in a few minutes. When the packaging boasts 80 hours of gameplay, you know you're in for the long haul. Fortunately, this is the kind of game that can be played on the treadmill, because there's not a whole lot of movement. Sure, you'll run around occasionally, but most of the time it's turn-based tactical strategy combat with a lot of cutscenes, but the cutscenes are the best part of the game.
I already warned you about the dangers of the Zohar. You should have been more careful while retrieving it.
Good acting, interesting characters, and high production values make Xenosaga an interesting game to watch, because you'll be watching at least half of it. And we have Richard Epcar doing at least one voice in the game. He plays Ziggy and maybe a few more, I'm not sure. You may know him from some anime like Ninja Scroll, Macross Plus, and Ghost in the Shell. He was Bateau. Basically, I wouldn't even touch this game unless you enjoy watching some good old school style anime, because it is really storyline driven. For the most part, Xenosaga is a very linear adventure. There's not a whole lot of exploration. You go where the game tells you, enjoying scenes like this along the way, which make it all worthwhile. Most of the combat is pretty repetitive and not entirely challenging until you get to the end bosses, which will frequently kick your ass until you learn how to equip all of your characters, and don't fight the Gnosis until you learn how.
I'm sorry,
Or at least until you meet your super android friend Cosmos, who's pretty cute, but guys, she's crazy. And she can kill you. An integral part of the story, she is. Your main character is Xion, but you'll meet lots and lots of other characters that you play throughout the game as well. Which breaks up the gameplay a little bit, but if I couldn't play this on a treadmill, I honestly wouldn't play it. I like the storyline and love the directing and cutscenes, but the gameplay is just grinding. There's no way in hell I could just sit down and play Xenosaga. The music is very good. Gotta mention the music, which goes from goofy to full-on orchestral battle mode. Nice job with the soundtrack in this game.
Cosmos, let's go.
There's lots of different ways that you can customize your party and attack style and different weapons and armor. Special powers, upgrades, ether, and you can even transform into giant robots from time to time. What I would do is figure out which attacks work on what monsters and use them repeatedly. I also went with an internet walkthrough just to speed the game along, because while it's pretty linear, you can also find yourself running in circles if you're not careful. And at some point, I think about 22, 23 hours in, when I was battling that one boss, Tiamat, I figured out that, you know, I actually need to learn to play the game instead of just repeat the same attacks over and over again. There's lots of different ways that you can set your attacks, and I never did a great job upgrading my robots. To be honest, it's not my style of game, but I love that Xenosaga and other games like this kill hours on a treadmill. 40 minutes, gone. You don't even notice. Yes, just open the damn door, let's go. Look, I don't want to give away any spoilers here, but the strength of Xenosaga is the storyline and the directing. I found myself wishing for more of that open world exploration like I got in Tales of Vesperia, a game I really enjoyed, and while I like Xenosaga, it's just the complete opposite, because you're always trapped or confined in a spaceship or swallowed by some alien. Running through some desolate office park somewhere in a destroyed planet. You're never outside exploring.
Appearance is down 5%. Shion, I need to be...
That being said, the environments look great, and that is some door. Where do you get one of those? Home Depot? It just seems unnecessarily complicated. Transform into giant robot, or Aegis, or whatever they call it. That's one of the neat features in the game. You can find new robot parts and upgrades laying about, or purchase them at stores. Something I should have spent more time doing. But I get bored navigating menus and upgrading after a while. While I enjoyed Xenosaga, because of the story, the directing, and acting, I can't say I'm really terribly excited to play the next two.
Spatial location will disappear. We are in danger.
This isn't good.
Maybe I just need a break from it for a while. I also want that guy's hat. Pretty sweet hat.
Me complete?
This has been a cool game to play once, but I'm looking forward to moving on to some more front mission, and I have Tales of Graces on the shelf, which was sent to the show by a fan. That's my next JRPG. For those of you who are really into JRPGs, I can't say if this game is for you or not, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it. We get some fan service here, like Shion in a bikini. And maybe that's there to lift your spirits after running endlessly through dark tunnels, sewers, and other murky environments.
Mystic powers.
I have 3 people to credit for sending this game to the show. Mohammed from Qatar, Mark from Bremen, Germany, and Dan from Pittsburgh, who I like to credit as Dan from Macross City. Because Dan, I know you love your fan service. I think it's super cool, but unless you're really into JRPGs, I'm not sure I'd recommend it. Unless you have some time to kill on a treadmill, because then it's great. Still a bit tedious. I'm looking forward to playing some more front mission, but that's Xenosaga. So thanks again, Mohammed, Mark, and Dan. It's Xeno to the Saga. And it's just part 1.